Everyone, I'm Jim Longworth, and welcome to another edition of Triad Today, coming to you once again from the Cena Botanical Garden in Kernersville. We'll tell you more about them later on, and later on is when the roundtable shows up, and you guessed it, they'll get into all sorts of controversies, so stay tuned for that. Between now and then, some great information, great guests, important things we're going to discuss over the next half hour, so I hope you'll stay with us for that. We want to start out, though, talking with two good friends of the show about financial pathways. What do I mean by that? We're going to find out right now. Next to me, Renee Rohr is Community Engagement Manager for Triad Federal Credit Union, and she brought along a very special guest, our friend Pam Anglin, Chief Development Officer for Financial Pathways of the Piedmont. Welcome, ladies. Good to see you.
Thank you, Gina. Thank you.
Renee, let me start with you. Now, what is the purpose of April as Financial Literacy Month?
Well, Financial Literacy Month is a month where we all take a step back and look at our finances and make sure that we can make any adjustments or things like that to help us stay connected to our money. It's also a great opportunity to teach our children about financial education and things like credit, borrowing, and even how to do a budget.
But, Truliant, just to brag on you for a minute, Triad does a lot of this. It's not just April, and that's an important thing that we're honoring that, but year-round you support education and financial education, right?
That's right. We provide financial education to nonprofits and the populations they serve. Our True Line at Work team provides financial education to companies in the area. And we also support nonprofit organizations that deliver one-on-one financial counseling, both in the Triad and in Charlotte.
And that brings me to our special guest that you brought along, who's been with us before. And I want to before I turn to Pam, just tell me why the partnership between Truliant and Financial Pathways?
Well, that's a great question. So Truliant, we believe strongly in helping low to middle income families achieve financial stability. And Financial Pathways of the Piedmont and Winston-Salem is one of those organizations that provides that counseling, a pathway to home ownership, and those types of programs.
For those who may not know, Pam, a quick thumbnail sketch of what the mission is for Financial Pathways of the Piedmont.
Absolutely. Financial Pathways of Piedmont has several programs, but basically we provide comprehensive and individualized coaching, counseling, and education for around financial literacy and stability.
Important now more than ever, as we were talking off camera, because you do so much for so many people who are hurting right now for many different reasons, all tied directly or indirectly to money, going all the way back to and even before the pandemic. And it's a real challenge, isn't it?
That's correct. I mean, April's a great time to highlight financial literacy and setting that foundation, but we know that money management, budgeting, those basic skills are not something that's taught. It's a learned behavior that sometimes, unfortunately, people learn by trial and error, and there's mistakes along the way. So we're always there to help people reach their goals and whatever their challenge may be, and now there's more challenges more than ever, helping them overcome those obstacles and reach their financial goals.
Absolutely, because a lot of people, as I said, are still hurting with that. Now let's talk about the annual luncheon, and this time it's coming up on April 28th, if I'm correct. What's new about this?
Well, it's really exciting for us. It's new that this is the first time we've done an in-person event in a couple of years.
Well, yeah.
But it is the inaugural year we're launching and we're celebrating 50 years in this community. So we've been providing financial counseling and well-being and all that since 1972. So yes, 50 years. And to celebrate that, we're going to celebrate with others by awarding a Financial Pathways Financial Health First Responder Award and some finalists. So we're going to be celebrating other people in the community who have gone above and beyond to help people reach their financial goals and all these things that Truliant Financial Pathways stand for. We're going to use this opportunity to partner and celebrate others.
I just think that's great that you chose to do that. That was an inspired thing, that you can honor people that are making such a difference in helping others as the two of you do. And that brings me to this. Up on screen, financialpaths.org is a general website you can go to find out a lot of information that you can get on what Pam and her team are doing. And also thanks to Renee and her team, Atticus and everybody, Todd at Truliant Federal Credit Union. Their website is truliantfcu.org, and we hope you will check that out too. Ladies, I hope you will come back as often as possible, and thanks again for all you do.
Absolutely. Thank you.
We'll be right back after this. Back now on Triad Today. Always glad we can spend a few minutes with the good folks at Alamance Community College. And our special guest today is Ashley Lewis. She's instructor of computer-aided drafting at Alamance Community College. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right. I'm going to ask the obvious starter question. What is computer-aided drafting?
Sure. So computer-aided design is just that. It is a computer-based tool that was created for designers to replace that kind of antiquated hand drafting method that they used before. So it was designed to make you more efficient by making you more expeditious, more accurate in your design in totality, and implementation of things like 3D modeling and a few other programs that we offer.
And did I say something wrong though when I said computer-aided drafting? Can you still say that, or is it computer-aided design?
Well, it could be either, truly.
Either.
Yes.
Okay.
So when you look up the term CAD, it really could be either. So we're
Don't
trying.
look up the word CAD. It's got my picture under it with it.
So
It's a whole different
really,
thing.
it really could be either.
Now,
truly.
is there a demand for graduates with CAD experience?
Absolutely. Right now, it's truly wide open. So we like to say it's from architectural to zoological, really from A to Z. Within a 50-mile radius of ACC's campus alone, there are over 700 design-related openings right now. So we're hearing from companies every day that they have more openings than applicants.
Wow.
So truly, it's wide open. It's a field that, I mean, if you think about it, if you look around, almost everything, except for the lovely plants in this garden, are
Right.
created by somebody. They're designed by somebody.
Well,
So
these were created by somebody.
That's
but
right.
Wait,
Exactly.
Now, you came from private industry, and you have a real feel for this on both sides of it, on the education side and the industry side, as far as demand for jobs. Give me an example of a job somebody would do with CAD experience.
Sure. So you really could do something like architectural design, being residential or commercial, furniture design. You could design cell phones, really anything truly that you touch on a daily basis.
Can I get an industrial certification if I go through this?
Absolutely. So any software that we teach offers industrial certifications. SolidWorks offers the most. Our 3D modeling software offers over 20, and those are actually free to our students.
I know you're really active and supportive of STEM, and especially as you're looking at opportunities for women. You're a good role model for the young girls in this, as a matter of fact. Not to brag on you, but you are.
Thank you.
What opportunities are there for women in this particular kind of design field?
So it's wide open. Women tend to shy away from this field traditionally because it is considered non-traditional. It is a STEM field, but we really have implemented things at ACC to try to encourage them to pursue that field because there are so many opportunities, and it really doesn't matter what the gender or any other demographic is, but there are, again, over 700 opportunities within just a 50-mile radius. So
Right.
really the opportunities are vast. And we've created a program called Wisdom, which stands for Women in Science, Design, Engineering, and Manufacturing,
Wow.
to connect them to mentors
That's
in
cool.
that program.
That's cool. But now, what about if somebody says, well, wait a minute, this sounds great because these jobs are open and I want to get a job, but what if I want to go from where you teach me about CAD to maybe go to a university for some other study?
Sure. So we actually have transfer programs in place with a lot of local colleges. So ECU, NC, A&T, and UNC Charlotte. They could choose that path, or they could go right to work out of the 2D program and have a very successful career, or they could combine the two and go into the workforce and then go to work for a company that actually pays for their education.
Man, this is fascinating. Now, I want to put something up on screen. For more information, you can go to alamance.cc.edu. That's the general website. But if you do a /drafting, that'll get you specific information about what Ashley was saying, or you can call 336-506-4352. I appreciate you doing this.
Thank you. I appreciate the time.
You think I don't even text and I have a flip phone? I mean, you think you could teach me CAD?
Absolutely. We offer night classes.
No,
so.
she's smiling. You should be a diplomat. All right, thanks for coming to the program. We'll be right back after this. Back now on Triad Today. Always glad we can spend some time with the good folks from Mountain Valley Hospice and Palliative Care, and we're going to talk about volunteering, which is very, very important to all of us for many different reasons. With me right now, Sarah Tabery is Senior Director of Philanthropy at Mountain Valley Hospice and Palliative Care. Heidi College is Manager of Volunteer Services. Welcome, ladies. Good to see you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to start with Heidi. What do volunteers do at Mountain Valley Hospice?
Jim, volunteers do a multitude of roles. They visit patients in their homes. They open doors for the patients in both of our IPUs at Woltz and at SECU Hospice Home. They deliver birthday cakes to patients. They do tucking calls on Thursdays, which is calling the patients or the caregivers, making sure they have everything for the weekends, like medications and supplies.
That's just great.
Yes.
Now, what if I say, well, I want to volunteer, Heidi, but I don't really want to get real close with patients, but I want to help them, but I want to do other things. I mean, are there other things I can do as a volunteer?
Yes, absolutely. We have special event volunteers that help with our fundraisers. You can do birthday cards for volunteers, make packets up for bereavement groups. Like I said, you can answer the doors, greet visitors at both of our hospice homes. There's lots of things you can do.
That's great, because again, even though they care for the patients in many ways, there are just some folks that they don't want to be responsible for direct care. They want to do other things, and so you give them an opportunity to do that. Now, Sarah, I understand you have a big fundraising event coming up. What's that all about?
That's right. I'm so excited to tell you about this. Our annual Big Hospice Raffle is back, and it is bigger than ever.
Wow.
With over $6,000 worth of prizes that have been generously donated by businesses throughout the communities we serve.
Right. And so now you call it a big raffle. People say, wait a minute, why would hospice need to do a fundraiser? I mean, don't you guys get money from the government or this or that? I mean, but the truth is, you really do depend on fundraisers, right?
We definitely do. So for some of our patients, they are not able to get coverage from Medicaid or Medicare or private insurance. Plus, there's just always a gap between what care is reimbursed and the actual cost of care.
And it's also important that you guys never turn anybody away.
We never do. And we also raise money to support our unfunded or unreimbursed programs like the We Honor Veterans program, the Kids Path Pediatric program, and also our grief counseling services, which are offered to anyone at no charge.
All right, let's get back to the raffle specifically. The proceeds are there any specific things the proceeds will go to, or how will it be generally spent?
We'll go, charitable care is our primary concern. That's where our most urgent need is. So that would be the main area where that would go. And then anything else would go, like I said, to the other unreimbursed programs.
All right, now, of course, people who've watched the show before know that you're home-based up in the Mount Airy, Dobson area, and they say, wait, I'd like to do this raffle thing, but I'm over in Davidson County, or I'm in Denton or whatever. I mean, how can people participate in this?
Sure. Well, one thing I'd like to mention is we've really worked hard to make sure we have a wide variety of prizes so they can appeal to anybody regardless of where you live.
Right.
And then to purchase a ticket, they're $10, and you can just visit the website and order them online. So that's the easiest way.
Right.
You can also visit any Mountain Valley office and buy tickets there, and also from our resale shops. We have one in Mount Airy and one in Sparta.
I hope they'll do that. We're going to give the website in just a second, very quickly, Heidi, to close things out. How important are volunteers?
They are crucial to Mountain Valley Hospice and any hospice. Medicare requires us to have 5% of direct care be volunteer hours.
Right. And you got some great ones.
We do.
Up on screen, mtmvalleyhospice.org. You can also call 336 or 888-789-2922 are the two options there. And please get involved and get those raffle tickets. And I appreciate all you do. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll be right back after this. Back now on Triad Today, let's talk about hospitality. And in what regard, you might ask? This gentleman's going to clear it up for us because he does so much for and around the community. We're with Joseph Corelli, he's managing partner of Mayfair Hospitality Group. Good to see you.
Good to see you, Jim. Thanks for having me.
Well, the thing I'm thinking about here is the pandemic. Everybody says, well, we're tired of talking about the pandemic, Jim. But how did the pandemic impact the hospitality industry, hotels, restaurant, bars?
Well, it impacted it very significantly. In March of 2020, it basically took it down to zero almost. And so you not only were dealing with lost revenue, crippling businesses all across the world in hotel and restaurants, but also it just forced massive staff layoffs.
Right.
And so it was certainly a worldwide crisis, and I believe that hospitality at that time was probably hit as hard as anybody.
Took the brunt of it. Would you say that we are back to normal?
I think we're getting there, Jim. Normal is it's a new normal, but I think that there is so much pent up demand. Human beings by nature, hospitality comes natural to humans. It's been one of the largest industries tourism has been in the U.S.
We want to travel. We want to see things. We want to go out to eat.
We want to interact is the
Yeah.
bottom line.
Yeah.
And so I think that,
Well, I don't. This is my only interaction here. No, I've been hearing something about, and in fact, you emailed me one day and said, we want to talk about Roar. I said, what the heck are you talking about? What is Roar?
yeah, well, thanks for asking, Jim. So Roar is an entertainment center and destination that consists of duck pin bowling, full swing sports simulators, 2 restaurants, 5 bars. It has Piedmont Federal Bank has an office in there, but Roar as an entertainment destination is something that we feel is something for everybody, and it brings something to the Triad that we feel is an amenity that the city and the county has been begging for.
And you're talking about this is in, where in Winston-Salem is this?
It is in between the Arts District and Innovation Quarter on the corner of Liberty and 7th Street. It's in the old Twin City Motor Building at 633 Liberty.
Now, I was trying to, in my forgetful self, I'm trying to think about all these things that you were talking about that are included in it, so I can go in, and can I hear music? Can I get some snacks? I mean, what's
Absolutely. So when you enter off of Liberty Street, you come in and we have Est restaurant on the right, and that's a Italian restaurant with a big, beautiful brick oven showcase pizza oven. You walk straight ahead into Ford's Food Hall, and there it's a gourmet food hall with an eccentric blend of food from around the world. And there's a stage there, and we do have music there, no cover charge every Thursday, Friday, Saturday night.
I just think this is great. And just as a disclaimer, I want to tell folks, Joseph didn't pay to come on and say these things. I'm just interested because it's really a success story. I mean, how did you come up with this concept to do all this stuff in one place?
Well, so I have to credit our developer, Simon Burgess, who's our principal investor and developer. He is the genius behind the architectural design of Roar. It's a 1928 building that came with its fair share of obstacles to develop.
Yeah, that was the Roaring 20s, so that's the
Well,
whole,
and that's part of the whole concept is we're coming back into the Roaring 20s. And, right before COVID hit, the economy was sure looking like the Roaring 20s again, and now we're hoping that everything is coming back to life. It's going to continue that way.
And what you're doing, I know, is going to enhance the overall economy, and that's important, I think, too. Up on screen, roarws.com is where you can find out more information about Roar specifically. And also thanks and a shout out to Rich and Marquita and everybody, the good folks at Visit Winston-Salem who handle all the tourism events and promotion for us. VisitWinstonSalem.com is their website. Joseph, thanks for doing this.
No, it's my pleasure, Jim. Thanks for having me.
All right. We'll be right back after this. Back now on Triad Today, just about time for the roundtable, but a quick shout out to our good folks here at Senior Botanical Garden who host us. Check out their website, check out the garden, lots to see inside and out. They will accommodate just about anything you want to do over here, and they're accommodating us right now. And us includes the man on my right, but always political left, Ogie Overman, the great broadcaster, journalist. Back behind us, 2 great guys, Dr. Don Martin, Vice Chair of the Forsyth County Commissioners, Keith Granberry, founder of Helping Hands Consultants, and guys, let's get to it. Currently, teacher raises are based mainly on years of service, so that a starting teacher is paid, let's say, $35,000 a year, might have to serve for 25 years to get up to $52,000. Now the State Board of Elections is considering a proposal that would pay starting teachers $45,000 and give them raises based on things like student performance instead of years of service. You okay with that proposal, Ogie?
I'm all for raises for sure. It depends on what the student performance, how the details of that work itself out.
All right, you're the expert on
Yeah,
this.
it's a yes, but. Yes, but is how do you measure progress? And do you end up with teachers trying to compete? You want to have a system that rewards both group performance and individual performance. You'd like all the 5th grade teachers to work together for 5th grade performance.
What about this, not taking in consideration seniority?
I think that you need to take into account performance, and I think you also need to look at the underperforming schools, and if teacher goes in there, they get higher money based on helping those schools perform better.
Good idea. Although a panel of judges approved it, state election officials will not yet agree to process voter registration requests from convicted felons who are still serving their parole or probation. Officials say they will appeal the ruling, which would then prevent any change to the law for the May primary. Now, guys, this delay will keep tens of thousands of offenders from voting next month who are out on probation or whatever. Two questions. Will this have an impact on the primary? And who eventually wins this battle, ex-offenders or Republican lawmakers? Ogie.
Well, it's been approved at every level, and the Republicans will do anything to keep people who have paid their debt to society who might actually vote for Democrats from voting. That's all it is, another voter suppression matter. That's all it is, period.
Don.
Well, will it make a difference? Maybe. It kind of depends how many of those folks would vote, and you hope that they would. But at the moment, probably Republican lawmakers will win for the short term.
For the short term, maybe not for the general election, but definitely in the primary. Keith.
I think it would make a difference because if people get an opportunity to vote based on, having served their debt to society, but I don't think that this time around that they'll win. I think the Republicans will win out on this one.
All right. Last week, Winston-Salem City Council approved a resolution calling on Congress to forgive student college loans. Now, it's a good idea, I guess, but the resolution is only ceremonial. There's no power behind that. But the question is, should our taxes be used to wipe out student debt? Ogie Overman.
Well, I just found out that debt is $1.5 trillion. So that, to me, is a bit much. But Biden has proposed eliminating 10,000 from people, but the Congress won't act on it. But just across the board, 10 grand, that sounds reasonable to me.
Don.
I just think everybody ought to pay their debt back. It gives people a leg up, and they ought to be paying it back.
Keith.
For somebody who had student debt, I think he should forgive the student debt. But I think that it gives people an opportunity. A lot of times people are saddled with debt because they can afford college education, and then they get into a job and they're still dealing with this debt, which hurts their credit. I think he should look at doing that, absolutely.
All right, North Carolina is one of 11 states that restrict the duties of nurse practitioners and require them to have, quote, career-long supervision by a physician. This week, state lawmakers are considering a change in those regulations so that nurse practitioners can order tests and manage treatments, prescribe medications, that kind of thing. Guys, would you like to see nurse practitioners given more authority to administer patient care or not? Ogie.
Jim, I know something about this. We deal with it all the time, believe me. You don't see doctors anymore. You see PAs and nurse practitioners.
Right.
And I know PAs are a little bit above the pecking order than nurse, but I don't see any difference at all. I think they clearly should be able to write scripts and do everything a PA does.
The PA does. Don.
I agree. In fact, Ogie said it very well.
Keith, what do you think?
There's a system already like that in South Africa. You don't see a doctor, you see a nurse practitioner most of the time. So I don't think there's anything wrong with it, and they should be encouraged to give people more care, in-person care.
Nurses are on the front line.
Absolutely.
They give great quality care. I agree with you guys. Walmart announced last week it will stop selling cigarettes in some stores. Now, as you know, Target ended cigarette sales long ago. CVS banned smokes in 2014, and they say revenues are up ever since. Now, with the decline in smoking, a rise in vaping, do you guys see a time when folks will only be able to buy cigarettes with a prescription, Ogie?
I don't know. I see a rise in black market cigarettes, if nothing else. I'm not sure that'll ever happen, but yeah, you'll see a lot of black market cigs on the market. Wait and see.
Yeah, Don.
Yeah, I don't think it'll ever happen.
You know, they'll still be selling cigarettes for here to
Well,
eternity.
as it declines, the market's going to shift, and the market's going to determine whether if there's a demand, they're going to be there.
Mr. Granberry.
Tobacco companies put too much money into things. There won't be any issue with them. Absolutely.
All right, finally, guys, according to a new study, only 30% of people under age 50, which is no longer Keith. Now, you're what, 46 today? This is Keith's birthday, by the way, so happy birthday to Keith. Anyway, only 30% of people under age 50 purchase lottery tickets, while 60% of older folks buy lottery tickets. Guys, do you still buy lottery tickets, Ogie?
I never bought one, Jim.
Never?
I never have. I think I might start, though.
Don?
I'm old enough.
I have bought a few, but I don't buy them.
Do you buy, young man, do you buy lottery tickets?
I do buy lottery tickets, and I was hoping that I'd win one today so I wouldn't have to come to your show.
Well, let me just reassure you something. So disrespectful, these young people. Well, that's all the time we have. Oh, except for this. Betty Soskin, you may not know the name, Betty Soskin is the oldest active park ranger in America, and Betty just retired last week. Betty is 100 years old. Quote, she was always pretty strict with us, but we'll miss her anyway, said Yogi and Boo Boo. It's a Yogi Bear park ranger thing. Would you split the lottery winnings with me?
I will give you one
Yeah.
ninth.
Welcome to the
1/10.
Welcome to the
of my
Liars
lottery ticket.
Club. This is a Liars Club. We'll see you next week.